Deputy Director of the Department of Administration is George Santos. According to Adelup, he has extensive public and private sector human resources and financial experience. He is the Assistant Director for the Apprenticeship Training Program at the Guam Community College. He also served as Chairman of the Coast 360 Federal Credit Union during its major growth period and its transition from the Government of Guam Employees Federal Credit Union. He previously was Director of Administration, a budget analyst at BBMR, and a financial analyst in the legislature. He also serves on the Board of Trustees for the Government of Guam Retirement Fund. Also joining us this evening is the Governor's appointee to serve as Director of the Bureau of Budget and Management Research, Bonita Flores. She is a business owner and certified public accountant, licensed in Guam and California. She attained a Master of Science in Taxation from Golden Gate University, after which she gained 30 years of experience in taxation and accounting. She has extensive experience in financial management, having worked for the CNMI government for 15 years. She's been a leader in the private sector on Guam since 1996. In 1999, she was listed as one of the top 100 business people by Guam Business Magazine. She served on the boards of the Commonwealth Development Authority, the Marianas Public Lands Authority, the Make-A-Wish Foundation, the Academy of Our Lady of Guam, and Bishop Baumgartner Memorial School. From the Department of Revenue and Taxation, joining us are Director John Camacho and Deputy Director Marie Benito. Camacho built his career from within Rev and Tax, working his way up the ranks and accomplishing much with limited resources. Camacho currently is the Banking and Insurance Commissioner at DRT. He regulates the banking and insurance industries. He also served as Deputy Director of the Department, overseeing the divisions of insurance, securities, banking, general licensing, compliance, weights and measures, motor vehicles, and taxation. He also served as Deputy Tax Commissioner, where he managed tax programs in the areas of tax enforcement, tax service, real property taxes, and tax appeals. He holds a Bachelor's of Business Administration degree in Accounting and Management from the University of Guam. Benito has decades of experience at DRT and is intimately familiar with its operations and resources. She currently is the acting supervisor of the Criminal Investigation Branch of the DRT Tax Enforcement Division. She has worked for DRT for 30 years in numerous positions, including as a tax investigator and a tax technician. She holds a bachelor's degree in public administration from the University of Guam.
Well, thank you all for joining us tonight. If you'd like to ask a question to our guests, feel free to give us a call at 632-TALK. That is 632-8255. George, let's start with you because you've got the Superman tie on. What superpowers are you bringing to the table to help solve some of the government's financial problems?
Buenas noches, Sabrina. My name is George A. Santos, and I just want to put the A in there because if you take the initials, it stands for gas, and they call me the gas man. So I'm bringing the gas man to the table. I'm a manager by profession. That's my trade. That's what I do. You know, I've been a manager for over 30 years of my professional career, and quite frankly, a manager's job is to take limited resources to satisfy unlimited demands. I've been doing that for quite some time now, and hopefully we can bring that to the Government of Guam.
The governor, he said that there's some serious financial problems facing the Government of Guam. Why did you decide to accept the job, and how are you prepared to deal with the stress? And we'll start with you, Bonita.
Well, 2 years ago, my husband suffered a catastrophic illness, and it's my way of giving back to the community. They helped us, and I am prepared to do whatever it takes to do the job and get the job done. And I'm used to stress, and my life has been a lot of stress.
Marie?
Okay, well, I've been with the Department of Revenue and Tax for over 30 years, and I wanted to continue public service in this executive capacity so I can make a difference. It's going to be a challenge, but I'm up for it.
John?
Well, like Marie, I'm a career at the Department of Revenue and Taxation. I've been to being a deputy director and also an insurance and banking commissioner for the last 7 to 8 years. And I like to continue that work that we have with Mr. Logan, and hopefully that we can bring more revenues to the people of Guam.
You guys are the go-to people when it comes to giving counsel to the governor on the state of the government's finances. Now, we've already heard numerous times that the finances are bleak. Guam is facing a $116 million budget shortfall for this fiscal year. You have individuals like Senator Ben Pangilinan asking Adelup to show the numbers. If you could please explain and break down the $116 million shortfall and where it's coming from, and we'll start with you, George.
Well, 116 million, or whatever figure we're talking about, you have to have a starting point. And quite frankly, the last unaudited statement for fiscal year 2010 started out with 89 million. So that figure is going to creep up as soon as the audit is completed. But that starting point, we're talking about other liabilities that come into play, and of course it comes into this year. We have a lot of unlimited mandates yet, and those are still being estimated, and we're going to be putting that into the figure as well.
Mm-hmm. Do you have an idea, though, where that 116 million is coming from? Is it from the permanent injunction?
Well, part of that, 116 million, of course, is some of the estimated mandates for the cost of health insurance that has not yet been addressed, as well as other stuff, things like that.
Well, we already have a call on the line. Let's go to our phone line where Tony from Tamuni joins us now from...
Hello, good evening, everybody. Sabrina and the panel. I want to congratulate all the nominees for the new administration. But I want to ask a two-pronged question. The first one is that, I'm a retiree, and just out of shock when I received my check a couple of days ago. I mean, they took a lot from my withholding, the tax withholding, and then I was trying to get a hold of revenue and tax, and nobody seems to be answering. So I just wanted to find out why is that nobody told us. I understand that this thing had to do with the deal that the Congress and Obama made, and we lost out on this deal, and I just want to know what can be done to restore it. Number two, the other question is that this issue with the finances just sort of boggles my mind. A lot of people are wondering who is correct in the equation. Is it the legislature that's correct in terms of the numbers, 30 million versus 126 million? I mean, it's confusing a lot of people. I mean, one area, somebody will say that this is not included in the in terms of the deficit, and then in another area they say it is included. So please enlighten the people with that. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Tony, for those questions. Let's start with you, George, and his question, his comment related to the deficit, the 30 million versus the 120 million.
Well, those figures, we got to understand that in financial statements, a financial statement is a picture of the finances in that point in time. In fact, by the time a financial statement is printed, it's already obsolete because the process keeps going on and on. So numbers are always going to be different. The next financial statement is going to have a different number simply because transactions and things that have to do with finances keep on being expended and has to be recorded. So that's why the numbers will always we're trying our best to try to reconcile the differences, but at this point in time our numbers are not we're interpreting things differently.
What's your read, Bonita, on the latest numbers?
Well, we have actually enlisted the assistance of the public auditor to help us quantify and confirm those potential unprogrammed liabilities. And we have met with Doris, and we are waiting for those numbers to be confirmed. And one of the biggest number, I think, in that 126 million is the make work pay credit. That money came in and it was spent. It's gone. that money has to be repaid back in terms of to the taxpayer or to the IRS if it's not paid to the taxpayer.
Can you give us some background on this Make Work Credit Program?
Well, it's that $400 and $800 tax credit that was given to to taxpayers, and it depends on your income level, whether you get it or not. And that happened in 2009, and we're getting it again in 2010.
And how much money are we talking?
It's $400 for a single taxpayer and $800 for merit filing joint. And that $55 million that was received, and maybe John could correct me if I'm wrong, has to be repaid back to the IRS by January of 2013. So that has to be factored in to the cash flow, because we need to either give it out to the taxpayer or return it back to the IRS. Whatever was not given in terms of the refund to the taxpayer.
John, can
Well, just to add to that, basically, as we received it, we were spending it. So what's happening now is that it's recorded as a liability to the government, to the refund liability. And as we pay out the 2009 returns and 2010, we trying to run reports to see how much actually we paid out. And then we offset that $55 million, then we have to pay that back by 2013. So one of the things that we're doing at Revenue and Tax is we're processing those 2009 returns and basically paying that portion out right now when we pay it out. So what we need to do is we have to kind of like speed up for that purposes so we can know how much actually we owe the IRS at the end.
There was another question that Tony brought up, and it dealt with withholding taxes.
Well, I think when we look at the rates, I think the rates were extended. I think the problem here where people were getting less on their net is because I think of the work to pay credit. It's not applied anymore. But the rates are still the same as 2009 as well as for 2011. It's still at 15, low at 15, going down to up as high as 34%. What I realize is that every year the brackets for those rates are extended, which means that more are taxed at a lower rate, and you're supposed to actually have more of the net pay, because when you tax at a lower rate more on the bracket, then you're supposed to have more net.